I'm James Nyhoff, Superintendent of Shelby County Public Schools. Our school district is in Shelbyville, Kentucky, between Frankfort and Louisville. We have just under 7,000 students and we're a growing district.
Buddy Berry, Superintendent of Eminence Independent Schools in Central Kentucky, about 15 minutes down the road from Shelby. District of about 700, so about 90% smaller, but working on the same work, and that's the professional growth and effectiveness system.
Shelby County has been thinking about effectiveness more than evaluation for several years. One of the things that we have in common, the two districts, Shelby and Eminence, is that for several years we've been involved in professional learning communities. And many districts across Kentucky have. And as we look back at that experience, we can see that the history is there for us to begin to be much more focused on effectiveness than on evaluation. So that's one of the early pieces that we can look back at. About 3 years ago, we began a journey in what we call now the Thinking Strategies Institutes. And the thinking behind that was that the process of teaching students how to think was something that would take some time. And for us, it has become a real teacher growth piece. And the idea that for teachers to change their practices and teach with a workshop model, those would be practices that wouldn't change overnight, and it would take some time and some learning. And so when I look back at it now, I think that now 3 years in, the concept of working on teacher effectiveness is not at all new to us. It's something we've been doing for several years.
And at Eminence, coming from a perspective, we're in year 2 of our innovative model that we've launched called the School on Fire. It's a framework of innovation for reinventing education. And in the midst of that journey, it's required a total overhaul of how teachers teach, how they present information to students, how students assimilate that information. And so we've had to really prioritize our professional development. We've had to prioritize our teacher work. We've had to prioritize walkthrough information and the growth process. So PGES has been a nice vehicle to accelerate teacher development and teacher effectiveness.
One of the pieces that we believe is very much in alignment with PGES is our work with data teams. Our work with data teams began with the influence of leadership and learning, and that organization provided the framework for us to begin our work with data teams. But the data team concept is that teachers work in collaborative teams, and they create units and lessons and assessments together, and then they collaboratively score them. And they set SMART goals and growth goals for students and for themselves and their own effectiveness. And the whole intent is that we improve teacher impact. And we talk a lot about know your impact and how do you increase your own effectiveness and looking for high effect strategies to use in the classroom. So all of that aligns perfectly well with what we want to do with an effectiveness system for teachers, not an evaluation system.
The one thing that I'll say about the PGES that we've really tried to implement is, and speaking with Superintendent Alf, I think that Shelby has, is to really make the work more formative rather than summative. So rather than focusing on the end product, it's really focusing on the journey of the teacher as a teacher, and to really put some formative assessments, formative measures in place to really be able to provide direct feedback. And that's a real two-way street. The power in what we're doing is in the fact that teachers are no longer just the recipients of a summative evaluation at the end of the year. They're a participant in the process where they may want to focus on questioning. They may want to focus on formative assessments. They may focus on classroom management. And so teachers have that ability and that power to say, I really want to work here. I want to focus here. And so it allows the principal and the teacher to work together collaboratively to figure out how to maximize the potential of each classroom. PGES does create just natural collaboration among peers by the peer observer, and so the one part that I think that where we can enhance that is really helping to facilitate those discussions. What do they look like? It needs to be more than a, man, that was a great lesson today, or, boy, you really did a wonderful job. How can we provide that specific feedback in a safe environment that really pushes each other to be better teachers? And so you're right, that collaboration piece is a real big deal.
I agree with Mr. Berry. For our conversations in recent days, one of the things we've been talking about a lot is this peer observation piece. And I see the peer observation piece as respecting someone's credentials, respecting someone's place as a professional. And even for the principal. When the principal is certified, for example, in a high school example would be the principal certified as an English teacher, and the principal is evaluating a mathematics teacher. I believe it's only professional courtesy that mathematics teacher is evaluated by a mathematics certified peer. There's just a level of difference in the quality of feedback that can be given and the quality of conversation, that collegial conversation, when they both have that same teaching experience and background. So I welcome that, and I believe that the teachers in our district are expecting that in an effectiveness system. PGES provides standards for teachers. The standards come from the Danielson work, the Charlotte Danielson framework, and it provides a great set of standards for teachers to gauge their own performance. We think that's important because we want teachers to know, just like we want students to know, what the standard is. We talk with students a lot about mastery of standards. What does it take to master a standard? We create rubrics for kids, and we spend a lot of time on defining what mastery is with exemplars and so forth. We believe teachers want the same thing.
The one nice part about the Danielson framework is it's defined excellence for all classrooms, and so it has set a bar, and so teachers can strive for that bar, and it creates almost a competency-based mindset for teachers, where teachers can say, here's where we're at, here's what we're shooting for, and here's what it looks like. And so, like I said earlier, it really just adds to that conversation of being able to define what excellent teaching looks like, and therefore creating that competency-based system. At Eminence, we're trying to focus on collaboration among staff, not just disciplinary, but interdisciplinary. So trying to work not just with math teachers, trying to help math teachers, but really trying to glean from each other best practices that are going well. So if somebody's really strong with classroom management, they're really partnering with somebody that's maybe not as strong, or partnering people that are just unbelievable with questioning, partnering them with somebody that's really focused on questioning. And so collaboration's extending far beyond just the here's how to solve a math problem, talking about it in a math PLC. So it's much more interactive and interdisciplinary.
And we believe that PGES promotes collaboration amongst teachers. And for us, with both of our districts having quite a bit of interest in the 21st century skills, and one of the things we're working on with kids is teaching kids to collaborate, we think we need to model that. Teachers need to model collaboration, and we think PGES framework, the whole framework, gives us a great opportunity to promote and support and encourage and reward teachers for engaging in the collaborative teaching process. And we had begun with something for administrators we called the POP, the plan on a page. And the plan on a page is simply this. We identify or create a hypothesis for what is the greatest single thing that could occur that's a leadership action in the school, and in this case in the classroom, that would have the greatest impact, that high impact item. And the thinking is that we would develop an if-then statement around that. If the leader engages in specific leadership action, then there will be this student outcome. And we take that same approach with teachers. If I, as a teacher, engage in this particular teaching aspect and measure student outcome, then I can tie my personal growth and development as a teacher directly to student outcomes, and do it in a way that's written in an if-then, that's measurable, and create a monthly chart for myself. So as the year moves forward, I'm charting each month. I did this, and I got this student result.
You know, at Eminence, one of the enhancements to the professional growth process that we're implementing is personalized PD. And so you say, well, what is personalized PD? Personalized PD is taking PD and formatting it exactly to the growth needs of the teacher. Sometimes that's even a strength analysis. So far too often, I think we look at where weakness is and then we try to push growth on weakness. But some of the easiest areas to grow from is a point of strength. So if somebody's already a pretty strong questioner, then we might give them some extra high-level professional development on questioning to build from a strength aspect and to make them an even better questioner. So we do try to look at the whole person. You know, we've been preaching personalizing instruction down to the student level, but PD's still relatively been a one-size-fits-all. We do a 6-hour PD. We bring the entire staff in. You have them in a library or in a classroom, and everybody gets the same one-size-fits-all development. And that's not working anymore. It never probably worked very well to begin with. And so what we've done is, as a board, our board took some courageous steps, and they're saying next school year, there'll be 24 hours of flexible, personalized professional development. So teacher, principal, district, it's aligning that teacher's needs with the district's direction through the school lens and saying, what do I need to better myself? So if they're working on standards-based grading and they're having a hard time wrapping their mind around it, then say, all right, do 3 hours of personalized PD on standards-based grading. That may not be sit and get, it may not be sit. That could be creating a product. So it's like work through and design your standards-based report card, and maybe that translates to 2 hours of professional development or 3 hours. So really trying to make the professional development model where it is a working model for what they need most. And so teachers have been very receptive to that. We've initially piloted that this year, especially at our high school level. And so the results have been staggering because teachers feel like their time is valued so much because they're working on what they need more so than what somebody else deems important for them. So
The light bulb for me, for PGES, goes off with the thinking about Covey's work. When I think about what he says about be proactive or think win-win, either one of those comes to mind when I think about the work with PGES. Because for me, what I saw immediately was the freedom to go down the road I knew I needed to go, the focus on effectiveness, not the focus on the punitive side of evaluation. And when I saw that I could take the POP and align it piece by piece with all the components of the PGP part of PGES, I thought that was ideal. Now, had I not been looking for it, I might not have seen it. But I went looking for it. And that's from the thinking of what Covey would say about be proactive, think win-win. So I would encourage people to do that very thing. As I listen to Mr. Barry, what I hear him saying and what I've observed that he is gifted at is looking for that piece within the system, whatever the system might be, that allows him to personalize that for Eminence.
And you know, as I've sat here today thinking about what's been said, I want to go implement POP. I mean, you know, it's I've seen Super now model that. I've seen his principals model that, and it's a powerful piece. The personalized PD for us has been a powerful piece. You know, but all of those are just vehicles at the ultimate goal of teacher effectiveness and making each of us the best we can be. That's what we want for our kids. That's what we want for our students and for our districts, is just to continually grow to excellence and to be the very best that we can possibly be. And so I think that the professional growth system allows us to do that. I don't think it's enough by itself. And so I think what Shelby's doing and what we're doing at Eminence and other you know, exemplar districts around the state is that they're taking it as a starting point. They're taking it as a framework. But I think that we have to personalize that. I think we have to enhance that. I think we have to make it very real to our districts. And so hopefully what you've heard here with us and some of the steps we're doing will put you further down the road for that journey for yourself.